For years, one man moved through the world's most exclusive circles: billionaires, politicians, royalty. And almost no one questioned how he got there. His name was Jeffrey Epstein. Wealthy, mysterious, untouchable. But the story isn't just about him. It's about the network of power that allowed him to operate. A network that spanned continents, mansions, private jets, and islands no one could enter. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore how influence, privilege, and secrecy collided in one of the most shocking cases of our time. This isn't about rumor. This isn't about opinion. It's about documented events, public records, and the questions that still haunt the world today. Why did the system fail? How did someone so connected evade consequences for so long? By the end of this video, you'll see not just the man, but the system that protected him, and why it matters to all of us. Epstein appeared to the world as a wealthy financier, a man whose fortune and connections allowed him to move freely among the elite. His private jet carried him across continents. Mansions in New York and Palm Beach gave him access to circles most could only imagine, and a private island in the Caribbean became a symbol of both wealth and secrecy. Photographs from the time show him alongside politicians, business leaders, and academics. Invitations to exclusive events placed him in rooms where decisions affecting millions were made. But despite all this access, his public persona remained mysterious, unclear, untouchable. For many, the question wasn't just who he knew. It was how a man with such influence could avoid serious scrutiny for so long. In 2005, the first major investigation began. Allegations surfaced in Florida involving underage girls. Local police launched an inquiry that would slowly begin to unravel the image Epstein had carefully built. Detectives gathered statements. Evidence was reviewed, and what started as a single complaint grew into a much larger case. In 2008, the case took a controversial turn. Epstein reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors. He pleaded guilty to state charges related to solicitation. In exchange, he received what many later described as an unusually lenient sentence. Instead of a lengthy federal prison term, he served 13 months in a county facility. He was allowed work release privileges during that time. For critics, the outcome raised difficult questions about influence, about power, and about justice. Despite his conviction in 2008, Jeffrey Epstein remained connected to powerful circles. Photographs and public records showed him alongside politicians, business leaders, academics, and royalty. His access to elite spaces did not disappear. Flight logs from his private jet later became public. Guest lists from events revealed a wide network of high-profile associations. However, being listed in records did not automatically imply wrongdoing. What made the situation controversial was not just the names involved, it was the level of access Epstein appeared to maintain. For many observers, the case began to symbolize something larger, a system where wealth and influence could shape outcomes behind closed doors, a world where accountability seemed distant, and connections meant protection. In July 2019, everything changed. Federal authorities arrested Jeffrey Epstein at an airport in New Jersey. This time, the charges were serious, and the world was watching. The case quickly became global news. Media outlets revisited his past. His connections were examined more closely than ever before. Public scrutiny intensified. Then, just weeks after his arrest, another shock followed. In August 2019, Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. Authorities ruled the death a suicide. However, the circumstances surrounding his death raised widespread questions. Security procedures were examined. Oversight was scrutinized, and public trust began to erode. For many, the story no longer centered on just one man. It had become a symbol of something deeper, a test of whether power could truly be held accountable. The Epstein case forced uncomfortable conversations, not only about crime, but about influence, and about the systems that protect it. How does someone build that level of access? How does wealth reshape consequences, and why do elite networks often remain untouched? Even when scrutiny is intense, the story revealed cracks in institutions many people once trusted without question. It exposed how proximity to power can create layers of protection. In the end, the case was never just about one individual. It became a reflection of a larger reality. That power, when concentrated and unchallenged, rarely polices itself. And when accountability fails, the consequences ripple far beyond a single name.